transitions between the box and the wall.
Elmer's on his kind of wall walk right now. Also has 2 reps now.
Got a bit more rounds on.
How many rounds is this?
Come on! I think that'll be
Rounders ahead.
2.5 minutes to hold on.
Open 22.1, it's a 15-minute AMRAP, 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatch, and 15 box jump overs. Okay guys, we're going to start by going over our warm-up for workout 22.1. Mike?
Okay, the warm-up guys, you'll remember if you came to the camp, we start always with pulse raiser. 5 minutes on an erg of choice, nothing specific. Then after that, we're going to go into 2 rounds of 3 inchworms, 10 Samson lunges on each side, and then 20 alternating calf pumps. After that, we're going to go into some more specific prep. We're going to go 2 rounds, 10 single arm dumbbell deadlift, 5 to 10 tuck jumps, and then 10 pogos.
So the potentiation round, what we're going to do is we're going to spend 2 minutes on his cardio kit. Ideally, we'd probably go for like an air bike, like an echo bike or an assault bike, because that's going to use our body and our lower body, create a little bit of kind of interference there. 2 minutes at a moderate to hard pace to kind of get us a little bit further out to simulate that workout. We're then going to do 2 rounds of the workout. When we start the 2 rounds, we're going to start timing our splits to get a bit of an idea of what our pacing will be, what our splits will be under some element of fatigue. Once we've done those 2 rounds at what is relatively race pace, we're then going to jump back on a piece of cardio kit. Totally doesn't matter what this is, it's just going to kind of be like almost like a cool down. And we're going to do 2 to 5 minutes of easy cardio just to get the muscles full of oxygen.
Oh, make sure guys, when you're doing this, you warm up, you're sipping on your carbs.
Okay, so before we get into strategizing for the workout, I think there's a few things for us to note and talk about. So number 1 is obviously the standard on the box jump overs. So they've said for accessibility and so no one gets injured in trips of boxes, it is a step down, okay? So make sure you play around with that. For most of us, we've been practicing building a lot of capacity doing rebound box jumps, and now you've got to revert back to that step down, so make sure you play around with the tactics and what's going to be the easiest, okay? For us, we found probably the best way to do that is standing relatively side onto the box, trying to jump on so one foot is almost off the other side, and then you're stepping off and sweeping your back leg over, so again, you're sort of side onto the box other side. Obviously, that's the goal. As you start to get fatigued, you want to try and avoid a big step away, or as you say, no, Olsen doing, or me doing, having to get a big swing of the arms, you start to get really tired and almost think about it almost more like a jump, okay? Trying to keep those hips as low as we can, land at the bottom of the squat and slide off the other side. The next thing standard-wise is the lines for your wall walks, okay? We're gonna have the same 10-inch line away from the wall that we had last year, but this time now there's just a standard set line for males and females, okay? So it's set at 60 inches away from the wall. Shorter guys might find this a little bit harder. Taller guys, really, it's probably gonna be no difference to you at all. It's a fairly standard line. I think last year pretty much everyone was roughly the same place anyway, so that's obviously why they've done that. And then finally, floor plans. We've not had floor plans for open workouts before, did we?
There was in the final one.
Oh, it was in the final, there you go. So make sure you go over that floor plan, you set yourself up properly, you don't want to get no reps or have an invalid video just for that as well. They are being hot on judging in terms of validating videos, so make sure you go over all these measurements, all these standards before you start the workout in case you forget at the end.
Okay guys, so in terms of your videos being valid, if you want to go through to the quarterfinals or even further past that stage, you're going to have to submit your videos and you're going to want to make sure you do it right. So things like showing your measurements in your floor plan, your weights, announcing your name, all those kind of logistical things, you have to do those at the start of your video. You can't wait until the end to do it, have to be at the start.
Also, sounds silly, but if you've been doing performance pieces, you should have been practicing this. Make sure your phone has enough space. Make sure airplane mode is on and do not disturb and all that kind of thing, okay? The last thing you want is to get halfway through and hit to stop recording or whatever, okay?
I had a little bit of chat about tactics and sort of first thoughts, how to strategize, how to go through this. So, obviously you saw the guys sort of all start very quick. Noah Olsen, Pat Vana's first round was about the 105 mark. That would have been leading them on for nearly sort of 14 rounds. Then obviously that died off quite quickly, both getting sort of that like 11 rounds plus mark. Okay, so I think the aim of the game is here. You're gonna slow down at some point in this workout, so you want to go out like at a fairly fast pace, but not so hot that you redline really quickly, like I did. Okay, you get to that 3 round mark. You've done quite a lot of reps, that heart rate's going to be very high, so you want to make sure that you pace it appropriately so you get to that point when you're already 10, 11 rounds in, or 10, 11 minutes in, sorry, not 3 rounds in, okay, and you're then dying from then off.
I think that's a really good point, and something that you saw the pros do is like, you could easily try and pace your rounds evenly and just go for even splits.
Every 90 seconds.
But with something like this, where the resistance is a bit lower and the kind of metabolic fatigue is going to accumulate across the entire workout rather than straight away, if it was like maybe like a heavier barbell, a high skill movement, you're worth banking those earlier rounds while you've got like almost like free energy, right? Because the movement's lower resistance. If it was something heavier, so like that 20.1 for example, with a heavier, slightly heavier barbell cycling snatch, worked really well because people are getting their heart rate back down after each round, whereas this seems like a workout where you progressively just accumulate that fatigue, and it's just about riding that line and trying to manage it for as long as you can.
Yes, it's very much self-reflective, right? You have to decide where that point's going to be for you, and that's why the potentiation round is going to be really important. So you know, if oh my god, that first round felt way too hard at that pace, I'm going to need to slow down from the off. Okay, firstly, if I was going to do that workout again, I'd already slow down my box jump overs, because that I feel is definitely where it's going to catch a lot of people out, especially maybe the people that aren't quite at that elite level. Okay, that's what's going to really start to gas you, especially if you haven't even practiced that step down. You're used to rebound, and it is a different movement. It's going to take more time. You're essentially loading a little bit more, stepping down. So yeah, it's maybe pacing those a little bit more, like Harry was saying, right? When you're fresh, you can get through those walks and get through those dumbbell snatches really quite comfortably. I think, especially now that everyone's done lots of wall walks since last year, 3 reps isn't a lot. You're not going to need to take massive breaks before you start them, or massive breaks in between. So trying to think of, finding your rhythm with the wall walks. How many steps in is it going to take? How many steps out is it going to take? Being consistent there. If you are breaking between wall walks and doing one, might make a good point of stopping, knowing how many breaths you're going to take. I'm going to take 3 breaths, then do my next rep. Right, those wall walks shouldn't be taking you a minute. It should be, even if you're getting tired, sort of 30 seconds to get through all those 3. Okay. The dumbbell snatch, especially if you're fairly decent, are your rest period in this workout, right? 12 reps isn't many at all. You can get through those no matter how tired you are, get onto them no matter how tired you are fairly quickly. So try and breathe, try and relax, and then I think a lot of it's going to come down to those box jump overs, right? I think the main thing is that you are really going to be limited here by your fitness, right? Unless your legs pump up really quickly on something like the box jump overs, which mine traditionally do, I still felt fairly fine going through those. It was purely limited by your actual fitness, right? So have that in mind, and knowing your, Harry said, your threshold and your red line, that's going to be really important in this workout.
I was just laughing because, do you remember that photo of you? I'm pulling this up, Mike pulled this up, from Norway, jumping on that box. I've got it on my camera. It's so funny. His feet are like this, and the angle, it's just hilarious.
Don't jump on boxes like that.
It's on the screen right now.
Don't jump. I think what's going to be important for people who are, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the level that they would be, but it'd definitely be like some quarterfinal athletes, maybe like people who are a bit more fringe. It's dictating what your limitation is going to be, like your aerobic fitness, or the volume of box jumps and the capacity of your legs. For most people that are qualifying for the quarterfinals, the snatches and the wall walks, unless you're like a particular case, shouldn't really be much of an issue. So it's actually like, what's going to go first? Your aerobic fitness, your box jump capacity, and then trying to figure out your pacing strategy around that, right?
Yeah, if you get 7 rounds in, which most people are going to do, right, that's going to be a pretty average score. Like the good scores are going to be starting to get over 8 rounds. The better scores are going to be getting towards 10 rounds plus. So even if you're only getting 7 rounds in, that's still over 100 box jump overs, which is going to start to take a toll on your legs, like you say, right? So if that's a lot of volume for you, it's bearing that in mind before you go in and start the work.
I'm just smirking because I feel like we always undershoot scores on this.
Yeah. And people come out with 14 rounds, right?
Yeah, because you watch the guys go and you're like, those scores are ridiculous. But 2 things happen, right? One of them, you're like this, I'm going to try and pace it like those guys did, and you get nothing there in your own scores. But so you're like this, good, like they're the best in the world, and then just some some stuff just happens.
You have some freaks in this workout.
Who's Emom in it?
They get 14 rounds.
Jon Koski won it in the world, didn't he? The wall walk for the men. and DV for the ladies.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not all in the wall walks we just saw, but
Helen or Lois?
ooh,
I'm not answering that question. Both of them will curse me.
Tommy or Ross?
Tommy or Ross, that's a good game.
what's Tommy like with these box jump overs, bro?
He just fucking rebounds. Sorry. He rebounds everything, doesn't he? So like he won't have done a box jump step down in a long time. Tommy will beat Ross. And I think Lois will be Helen. I think you guys are very close. I think you guys are very close to stuff out. I don't think very much.
If it was rebound, if you could rebound, I probably would have just been like, yeah.
Okay guys, so main points. Number one is identifying your limiter. If that's going to be your aerobic fitness, if that's going to be the number of box jumps, if that's even maybe going to be your ability on the wall walks, making sure you have down all of your standards and your rhythm for, so that's wall walks, how many steps in, how many steps out, and your box jump over standard as well. You want to go out a little faster than you want to, so you can bank those earlier rounds, but not so quick that you redline 3 rounds in, okay? If you can get to that 7-8 round mark, that's when you're going to start to peter off and slow down, and expect your round times to drop off a little bit there. And then once you get into those final sort of 2 minutes, it's just try and really dig in and go for it.
Potentiation round, very, very important. You want to make sure that you use it for its intended purpose, and if it's too quick, you can slow it down, and you can even do another one. Go rest on the earth and do another one.
You got to use that potentiation round to make yourself feel the workout, because it's a slightly longer workout. Feeling the workout is not going to be a bad thing. It's not like feeling the workout and doing Fran, right? You want to know exactly how you're going to feel, how the muscles are going to be working, all those kind of things, kind of fatigue you're feeling. So yeah, potentiation round really important, and also you'll learn about your fatigue, where it's going to crop up.
And then finally, make sure you film the workout, you announce your standards and lines and weights and name beforehand, and your phone has enough battery and storage. Good luck, everyone. Open week, baby! Woo!